Hello and welcome to ACAD System free online course. For this session, we're going to take a look on the timeliner within the Navisworks Manage. So on the Home tab here to activate the timeliner, so you can go to the Tools ribbon here and turn on the timeliner. So the timeliner toolbar will be shown from here. Right, so timeliner basically allow you to generate timelines for your constructions. For example, here, if I have create some of the sets here. So if I have structure one, foundation, level one, level platforms, column, and so on. And I would like to make this timeline. So starting with the structure foundations from which time to time that it will be construct and when it will be finished. And once it's finished, I can go to the next part and so on. So from the timeliner here, we have the task. So this will be our overall settings that we can control from here. So for the easiest part is that I can use the auto add task, and I'm going to add for every set. So if you select for every topmost, it will select from the standard step. So I'm going to select for every set. So it's going to add structure foundation, structure level one, platform, and so on. So it will be on the list down here. So let's see what it add from here. So first of all, automatically it will create a structure foundation. So if you use the auto add task, so it will automatically rename based on your set's name. And then we have the status here. So the status is based on the plan with the start or at the end. And we can compare with the actual or end. So for example, let's say if I plan to do for the structure foundations will be on 14th to 14th, and they actually on the on-site it will start a little bit early, say 12 to 13. So the status here will tells me that this one is actually start and finish before the plan. So if I will do it at the same time with the plan, so for the actual here, I'm going to set the same date. It will start 17 and it will end 17 as well. And you should be able to see that it will start and should be finished at the same times, probably because I select different time. But if you select the same times, you should state that this is finished on time. Right. So if I were to set this start a little bit late, let's say I were to start this on 90 and I were to end it into 20, so it will show you this one is start after the plan has been finished. So that is the plan and actual comparison for the status here. Other things that you can find from here is that we have task start. So this start will be for constructing. If I have some obstacles such as maybe forestation or some rock that need to be removed, I can set this to demolition stat. And the attached here is the model that I want this to be shown. So again, if I'm using the auto add task, automatically it will add the set from the model. It will set the model from the set here automatically. And we also have the total cost that you can add from here to allow you to calculate easily. So on the right side here, we have the Gantt chart. So this one is basically allow you to select or see the date that you have added before. So we have plan date for the Gantt chart. If you want to show the actual, then you can select the actual dates. So it will show Gantt chart from the actual dates. I can also show the comparison or versus between these two. So you will see the actual and also for the plan. So alternatively, I can also control the date from the Gantt chart from here. So for example, on the structure level one, I have the actual and also the plan, right? So this one will be the plan. So if I want to, I can also control, let's say the plan will be end up until 18. And then okay, so I believe this one should be the actual instead, right? So the actual will be end up until 18. So if I want the plan, so I can control the plan value from here to be end at the same time. So it will change into the value from here as well. Right, so that is the Gantt chart sections. So I can also do it manually one by one instead of using the automatic as from here. So I'm going to start back from the beginning. So I can just delete everything from here. And before I'm going through the task here, I can select data source. So if I already create the timelines from different software for either Excel file, Microsoft Project, or Primavera, so I can actually import that files inside here and it will be shown on the task instead. So that is the data source. We have the configuration, basically tells you this is item for constructions, this item is for demolish or temporary. If I have different type of tasks, I can also add from here. But for this case, I'm just gonna leave it as is. And lastly, we have the simulate from here. So this one is basically allow you to simulate the task that you have added. So for example, if I were to add the task again from here and I can go to the simulate from here, and when I hit play, it will show me based on the start and end, and then you should be able to see that, for example, currently this one is not yet visible. And once I've reaching that date for the plan for this to be start, and you should be able to see now it's become green color, meaning it's under constructions. And if I'm moving forward, now it has been finished. So that is basically the timeline that you can actually play based on the task that you have added from here. So for this case, I'm going to start back from the beginning. I'm going to delete everything from here. And I would like to add the task manually. So instead of using the auto add task here, I can use it manually using the add task from here. So the first thing is that I can specify the name for this task. Let's say if I have the first thing is the structure foundation, so maybe I have different one. I can just set to standard. So the first thing I would like to start with skeleton. So maybe this is some obstacle that I needed to be removed. So I can unhide this, and I would like to add this into this part here. So I'm going to name this as a skeletal or obstacle. I'm going to name this one as obstacle. And which is the time for this to be created. So you can either use plan or actual. For this case, I'm just going to use the actual one. Let's say the actual is start from 14 and it end 15. And from here, I can specify what are the task type. So this is an obstacle that need to be removed. I will set this to be demolished. And attach is the model. So I would like to attach the skeleton here. So I can right click and attach current selections. I can also set the total cost, but for this case, I'm just going to leave it as is. So that is the first step. So the next step is I would like to add this, the base here. So I'm going to use the set instead. So I'm going to start with the structure foundations. And I'm going to name this one as a foundation. It starts on 17 and it will end up until 18. And the task for this will be for constructions. And for the foundation, I will attach inside here. Again, I can add some more tasks. If you want to, you can also use some of the tools here to reconfigure. Maybe this start is early from the foundation, so I can just move it upwards, or I can just move it downwards. So this part will be next, which is structure foundations, level 1, structure level 1, and this one will be start, let's say, after the foundation has been finished, 19 to 20, for example. Maybe the structure level 1 is temporarily that I need to put. So once I have done everything, then the structure need to be removed. So for that, I can set to temporary. Right, but for this case, I'm just going to leave it as construction because I need it inside of my constructions. And again, you need to select the parts and you can right click to attach the selection from here. I can continue to add some more, but I'm just going to proceed to simulate this and I can adjust the setting for the simulations. So right now I need to specify the setting first. So I would like to make that it start on the date that I have start and it will end after I finish. So I will start this 14. So I will set it to 13 up until 21. So for the simulate here, I can set override start date. So I'm just going to leave it as 2025 February and it will start on 13 and it will end 21. So currently the view here is set to plan, but the one that I have added is actual. So I'm gonna set as an actual. And when I click OK, so I can see that we have the obstacles over here that need to be removed. And when I hit play, and once I enter the date for the workflow to be done, so it's becoming a red color, meaning the object is currently under removal. But once it has finished, then you see that the object are no longer visible. So once done, then you can proceed to the next part, which is for constructing. You can see it's become green color for undergoing the process of building. And once done, it will show the actual part for this. Right, so that is basically how you create your own tasks and you can simulate it. And you can also export out the data that you have created from this task here. So we have export to Excel file. So I can export to CSV if you want to. And I'm just going to name this one as a construction. I'm just going to leave it as this and save. And when I open back, I should be able to see the data that I have added before. So that is the Navisworks timeliner. And that's conclude our lesson for this Navisworks Manage.